Hey, this is Quan Tracy Cherry, and I'm here to talk about this lunar eclipse tomorrow. If you followed me for any piece of time, you know I talk about full moons at least having a 5 day influence, 2 days before, the day of the full moon, and then the day after. Well, eclipses have even a larger influence, not only because of the lore and the dragon eating its tail and the whole stuff about it regarding the fear and superstitions. Remember that this was about the astrologer priests served the elites back in the day, much like clarity, excuse me, clarity and laity. Uh, Point. This eclipse that we have on the screen is for Kansas City, and eclipses are at a full moon. And here is the sun at the fifth, sixth degree of Aries, complemented or equalized by the moon in Libra. Eclipses are at about 19-year cycles. So you can go back to about 2004, 2005, late 2004, and see what you were doing approximately 19 years ago, and then just kind of approximate that back. I'll do more of that math, either if you ask me personally or for the solar eclipse coming up on April 8th. So suffices to say, for this one, this is about how we balance the I am of Aries with this nebulous Neptune right in front of the sun, and then this moon in Libra. So it's about how do we allow our past to eclipse being present moment. Yeah, I use the word because the moon is being blocked. And so what that indicates is that our past, our habits, the the way in which we stay in our own silos. And if it's a Libra moon, Libra south node of the moon, then it's about being the diplomat, being the good person, being the individual who rises above, but maybe aloof and not connected in the moment, which is an Aries thing. A tarot card that I really like about these first days of Aries is the Two of Wands with the Mother Piece deck. That cartoon or that bubble is an ancestor showing the person who is physical how to make fire. Now, for those of you who like a more different interpretation or symbol, here's the Two of Wands in the black and white deck. And he's holding those Two of Wands, or they are holding those Two of Wands. And it's about the right to rule oneself or sovereignty. So it's understanding who you are, giving yourself the space to grow from that heart of hearts. Because, Aries is a fire sign, and fire in Chinese medicine goes to the eyes and the heart. So the fire element is about seeing with our hearts. And we have the heart of hearts, the Garden of Eden, and then the Libra side, or that moon, is bringing in the Two of Swords. Now that's a stork pose or a sana. I don't. That means pose, and but here we are pausing, and if you see that she brings a figure of eight, or the infinity symbol. So the Two of Swords is how do we seek the interchange of energy and matter. It also suggests the birthing of something new in our relationships. The storks represent that. Now, in more traditional symbolism, the Two of Swords is almost often blindfolded. And in this deck, it does have the moon in Libra. But Libra is about equilibrium and balance. So, how do we allow this eclipse to bring equilibrium, inner equilibrium, not false peace, but inner equilibrium regarding what we may logically think we need from our minds versus what our souls or our instincts or our heart is telling us. And like all things Libra, we're looking at the scales. So sometimes I feel like Libra energy, and if you have Libra moons for sure, that our antennae or our receptors are made up of feathers, can tell more from a tone, a word choice, a syntax, whatever, than volumes, than social media explanations, what have you. So this eclipse is right on the heels a week before the Mercury retrograde, which happens on April Fool's Day, which, how appropriate is that? Which Mercury, and since it's the day before we vote, on question one in Jackson County may be a lot closer than what we think. But let me just suggest, or this chart suggests, that with the moon and Capricorn on the Mercury retrograde before we go voting, the system, the government, the powers that be have stacked the deck. Now, this is not about conspiracy theory so much as Capricorn wants to keep the status quo in hierarchy. So those East Bottom people, adios. I just think that the money sources in this city, unless there is a groundswell of the Pluto and Aquarius that we're all in, that we really don't want this for the common good, or we don't see the $260 million. And I know what you're thinking. I didn't come here for politics, but then you're missing intersectionality from Kimberly Crenshaw of the early 90s, code switching from Geneva, Switzerland, Smitherman, where, African American vernacular English that we talk differently when we're around different people. And then you're also missing us moving from the Pisces age, where we just give our authority outside of ourselves to doctors and priests and rabbis and shamans and whatever, to the Aquarius age, where we grow the F up and we participate in the systems. You become the leaders that you want to be, or the change that you necessarily want to be. The other feeling that is going on is that we miss the phrase, the feminist phrase, that the personal is political. Talk to anybody with strong Libra energy, and they will tell you how their strength is in their ability to influence or to handle, which comes from the word mano, which is the hand, to manipulate, to handle with dexterity their influence. And with this Mercury retro in Aries until April 25th, but he's in Aries until May 15th, suggests how do we act in the present moment, not deconstructing our confirmational biases, deconstructing our believing and seeing that the past is prologue, that we have to repeat our past. No bueno, we don't. But back to this eclipse, one of the major difference between the lunar one tomorrow on the 25th and the solar one on April 8th, and I hope everybody gets solar eclipse classes. I will be at the Mystic Fair on April 6th and 7th that weekend with some solar eclipse classes that I understand will be Reiki infused, because we want to keep our physical sight for sure. But a basic difference is Venus will be conjunct Saturn on the lunar eclipse. So our value system will be seeking to mature and come into intellectual and emotional weaving that Pisces can do so well. The studying, researching different belief systems, and then the other fish in Pisces integrates through consciousness and through being in the world but not of the world, of reactionary nature based on some larger unexamined belief. It's just Palm Sunday. I don't know of larger unexamined belief than merging the Easter Bunny with the resurrection of our dear Lord and Savior. That's so pagan that to not acknowledge the pagan roots of this holiday is just effing Pisces age folly. And as the Aquarian age gets us to dive really deeply into the origins and the root assumptions of our beliefs and our holy days, also known as holidays, of all religions, then we grow up in terms of we give the childish things or the natural things, because there's nothing wrong with Ostara. There's nothing wrong with celebrating the birth of the light, celebrating the birth of vegetation, celebrating Persephone coming back to reunite with her mother, Ceres or Demeter. None of those things are wrong. We want to elevate and integrate nature. Pause and breathe. So Venus conjunct Saturn says grow up, mature, come from integrity. Now, the solar eclipse, which I will touch on a little bit, we've got Mars conjunct Saturn on that Mercury in retrograde, but the solar eclipse brings in, if I can find it, just hold on, brings in Mars conjunct Saturn. So here it is right here. Here's the solar eclipse with the wounded healer there, Mercury in retrograde, But here's Mars and Saturn, known as the two malefics. Bad, but not so much. Mars is disciplined by the Saturn energy. So imagine the warrior and the general, or the warrior and the officer, or the officer and the soldier integrate and they work together. That it's not so much a repressing of our primal urges as it is focusing them in mature ways. Warrior as protector of the weak, of nature, of belief systems that hold their value, not bombing a city or a place and then offering humanitarian aid. That's so Pisces age. Let's get to the roots of focusing on peace and common ground and not hating war so much as understanding the origins of war and focusing more on the equilibrium that's brought by peace. So we got a lot to concentrate on with this eclipse. Go back 19 years, '05, '86, what, 67. You can and understand it. Like I said, I'll do more of that in the solar eclipse. But it's important to understand that Venus moves from Pisces into Aries from the lunar to solar eclipse. And Pisces and Aries share innocence. Pisces is the innocence that you return to, much like a return journey to the Garden of Eden after being betrayed or after eating from the dualistic tree of good and bad or all of that stuff. And Aries is so in the moment, so not stymied or repressed by what's happened in the past that they innocently respond to what's in front of them. And that comes from a heart of hearts contemplation and reflection. This is Quan out. And please leave comments in the comments section. And if you know your North and South nodes, you can put that down there. And please, as more people subscribe and leave comments or send DMs through the YouTube channel, or belief is not required, it may take a little bit longer than I suspect you might like. This is Quan out, and enjoy your Sunday and have a fortunate eclipse.